Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and checking out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right in my living room, doing what I do for you. Today, right as in 25 Rules to Live by storytelling, story with a message in a story for life. This is a good life lesson. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Knowing yourself a little bit better. Get personal. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka knowing thyself, or open up the third eye. Yeah, today is my day. Right thinking Thursday. We got to be on our best behavior, starting with today. We work on other days, but let's take one and start with the first one. All right, that's the concept. The question: know thyself. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not but know that they know not is simple. You teach them. Tune in. That's why I do what I do for you. A person who knows not and believes that they know dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. I can wake them up. I'm a spiritual alarm clock. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to Mayat, be true. I got a good one for you today. This is more so a lesson that I live by, not a life lesson, but it should be interesting. Right thinkers, let's talk about, all we have is imagination and memory. Our brains are wired to remember and to imagine conceptually. I'm trying to break it down for you. Hope you get a good understanding. I thought this was a good concept. I got my spin on it. Let's go. Our imaginations keep us striving to be what and who we think we are from our imagination. Remember, the creation of the world came with a thought. He imagined himself into creation. Same thing. Imagination, thought, same thing. Just play on words. All right, but let's go. Imaginations are our real dreams. That inner thoughts that's there. Mm-hmm. When you learn to tap into them, and right thinking will teach you how to do just that, you will become intuitive. You will be aware of your thought process. You'll know how the thought process works. That's what knowing thyself is all about, having control of your imagination. Our imagination, if we pay attention, again, will guide you to do what? The right thing. What's inside you, know what's best for you. It's the old saying, if you don't letting what's inside you out is a good thing. Not letting what's inside you out can destroy you. It's a philosophical point of view. I know about that one too. That's what destroyed Osiris. All right, our spirit speaks to us through our imagination, which is the mind, which is the thought process. Again, it all ties in. But if you can imagine it, you can think it, you can perceive it, you can make it happen. That's what they say, dreams, follow your dream, all that. We need to have understanding. Don't just use these words and don't understand the definition of the word, so the magnitude of what you're saying carry more cachet when the word is understood and understood by the people you're talking to. My imagination don't rule me. I have knowledge, which is my life experience, which gives me wisdom and understanding. So my imagination don't run away with me. I don't sit here and daydream about what could have been. I done went through life, so I have experience. I don't have to use my imagination. Young people, imagination is good. You can imagine whatever you want. Life will take care of that. That's not my problem. But you need to have a concept and understanding that imagination are things that come to you from within you that you got to bring out. You don't get imagination from outside the world. Imagination come inside. Okay? Sorry about that. Let's go. You can't live, again, in imagination. You have to manifest it, make it happen. That's called reality. Fantasy, imagination is reality when you make it happen. In your mind, it's just a thought. Try not to get excited. Yeah, I get a little, I get amped up. All right, it's called passion. Don't get it twisted. I've been told I'm arrogant. Nah, again, perception. You got your right to have yours. But let's go. Your imagination gives you ideas that you can make happen. That's reality. Your imagination is like your emotions. Good servants, but bad leaders. Okay? You imagine it, you conceive it, you perceive it, you plan it, you plot it, you work it out. You don't just haphazardly just take a thought, I want and just go with, no, it's well thought out plans. It's important. Your imagination is your dreams, your desires, but you have to be able to control it. Some people can't distinguish between dream and fantasy and imagination with reality. That's called delusions, okay? Delusions of grandeur. When you think it's something other than what it is, you're delusional. It's not a lesson there, but stick with the imagination right now. Excuse me, thank you. Your imagination should never lead you. Use knowledge and understanding and wisdom to live by. That's right thinking. Okay, that's all it is. Common sense. My imagination. So what was that? Okay, okay. Right thinking philosophy again teaches you how to control that imagination with what? Positive thought and understanding how the thought process works, how your memory, how your brain actually works. Okay, thinking is a process that goes on whether you're in tune with it or not. The brain does what the brain does. You need to understand that. Okay, heart, mind, coherence. Another lesson there. Get back. All right, here you go. Listen, moving on. If you can imagine it, you can manifest it. Again, they say that, and it's true, but how many people they understand it? Well, young people, that means if you can imagine it, you can dream it, you can make it happen for yourself. So you dreamed an impossible dream. I remember that. I was a dreamer when I was a kid. Now I'm a grown man. I have control over that. That's all. So let the young people dream. Why? Their life will take care of that as they go through it. It ain't your job to discourage them. I'm a teacher, not a discourager. All right. I want you to think. If you can imagine it, you can manifest it. The mind, aka your subconscious, runs the body. You only use at max 10% of your brain capacity. That means you have 90%, and some people only using 3 to 5% of their brain capacity. That's called the masses. Are you the masses? Because if you're using 10%, you're pretty much in genius level. Why? Because you're functioning with all your faculties, your 5 senses, but you should be using your 6. That's the one that gets you to the next level. That's another lesson. But take it to imagination. All right, here you go. Your imagination is better when knowledge of it makes it possible. When you can imagine something that's possible, you make it happen. I imagine myself in a new car. I have a new car. But I didn't just sit back and say, no. It's things I had to do to make that happen. So your imagination can be worked on. You can manifest it with working, making things happen. I imagine me teaching right thinking philosophy through hard work and years of perseverance. I got classes today. I'm teaching right thinking philosophy. Get the program. You can think it, you can achieve it, but you have to put the work in. With anything that's going to happen in your life, you have to put the work in. Don't leave out that part. We tend to listen to people who get rich and famous, and they leave out the part of the hard work. Very few people tell you how hard it was to get there. Most of them just sit there and gloat and just, it's hard grinding. I'm a grinder. I know. All right, back to the lesson. Sorry about that. About to get personal. All right, my imagination gave me the idea, but my knowledge showed me how to make it happen. Right thinking philosophy, use your imagination as a tool to build yourself to be a better you. That's the focal point where your imagination should be focused on you first. Self-preservation, first law of man in nature. If you ain't taking care of you, you got no use to nobody else. Okay? We call them bums, derelicts, or people who just down and out. That's what happens when your imagination get the best of you and you forget reality. Reality is the way to live. Now, this other thing we got is our memory. Our memory is our memory is like a double-edged sword. It cut both ways. It can cut good when you want it, or it can do some damage when you don't want it. Let's talk about that concept. All right, if your memory is used properly, it's a good tool, a good weapon, cut and right. We have memories of good old days. We have memories of good scenarios. Not many of us use our memory to go back to the bad things in life. But I use them as stepping stones. I use them as reminders, okay? Use them as little fillers. But you have to understand that everything in life wasn't always good. If you have consequences, if you suffer consequences of your actions, you will know that by all means, okay? All right, my memory can change my mood from happy to sad. I call them moments. Everything will be cool. All of a sudden, that thought come in there, and bam! You like, what happened? Yeah, your memory got the best of you. Sometimes it sucker punch you, and if you ain't ready, if you got a porcelain chin, it's going to crack every time. You're going to fall apart. You got to put yourself back together because you done messed yourself up. Conceptually, all right. Your memory can serve as a motivator. It can drive you, and on the other side, it can serve as a depression and bring you down if you allow it. Again, you should be in control of you. Self-mastery means that you understand these things, but now since you understand them, you can control them. A lot of us have issues, our fetters, I call them. We don't know that we're ignorant to certain things. We don't know what we should be doing, how we should be doing certain things. That doesn't mean we're dumb. That just means you're going to cause yourself problems from not knowing. That's ignorance. Not knowing something, you should not do nothing that you don't know what you're doing in life. That's important. Hence, knowing thyself in all aspects of yourself, you can control every aspect of you. Hence, master. If you let your memory depress you, that's wrong thinking. Again, you have to be sharper and mindful enough to understand when not to let that get you, okay? All memories are not bad or good, but you control them yourself. I understand because I have to do the same thing. I'm human, just like you. Don't get it twisted. Let me wrap this up. Again, I appreciate you tuning in. The memory can be a good thing when it's a motivator. Memories that push you, that drive you, is always a good thing. Okay? I only use memory of that, what inspired me to do better for myself. When I go back to that bad place, it's to inspire me, to motivate me. What got you there, don't do that again. So, like the mouse in the maze, if you do something once and it don't work, don't do it again. It's just common sense. It didn't work. It won't work. No matter how many times you do it, it's called insanity. At a certain point in time, they're going to question your sanity, okay? Your memory, like your ego, have to be controlled by you. Well, sometimes control it, harness it, master it. It's part of yourself. It's the characteristic personality that you have to get control of. That's what I think of philosophy. When you walk down memory lane, walk proud. If you walk down memory lane in depressed state, in a bad, it's not going to be good. Walk. Why would you make that walk? Walk with pride. Pick the chest up, pick the chin up, put the chest out, and stand erect. Why? That's how we was made to be. No matter what you think, that's how it should be. If you ain't doing that, you're doing something wrong. Let me wrap this up for you. Your memory, if not controlled, will, like your ego, destroy you. Okay? If one day is up, next minute down, you can't live like that. Okay? Self-destruction. Okay? Don't do that. In the end, right thinkers, imagination, and memory have to be controlled. That's right thinking philosophy. Work on that on a daily basis. That's how you get better. I did. I'll be back. Thank you.